for just a few minutes, okay? Okay. And who recognizes the mother energy, past and spirit? And I'm not being told mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, or great-great-grandmother, but I know it's 4 generations and down. Very clearly, her name is Margaret. Okay, I'm going to leave that be. Do you recognize it? Perfect. Okay, so it just means I'm starting to feel some of your bloodline step in. So sometimes what will happen is I will start to connect to some of the older generations. But also, I'll have a lot of people that will attend groups like this, and they don't know past that 2nd generation. They don't know past their grandparents, and that's okay. There's a really strong grandfather energy standing over here. I'm just letting you know. So he belongs to one of you. So I'm going to leave him be for a minute because he's clearly starting to step forward. Okay. And who recognizes the name Charles? Charles, very clearly. Okay. I'm going to leave that be for a minute. Who recognizes Uncle Charles? Uncle Charles. Okay, good. So do you recognize Uncle Charles as well? Okay. Because I'm being told Uncle Charles is going to be supportive energy for someone that steps in. So I'm just waiting to see who I'm going to do first, because I go directly to his energy. They're saying to me, I need to take a mom who had complications with diabetes that led into complications with the chest first. Who recognizes that? Diabetes, blood sugar all over the place, complications with the chest, honey. The diabetes got so advanced that there started to be issues with the chest. Do you understand it? Good, wonderful. So I'm coming to sit beside you. Is somebody sitting there? Okay. So let me grab this chair then. I'm going to steal this. Listen, I'm going to not only lose my water all the time, I'm going to lose my chairs as well. Oh, my memory is not great. Right, honey? I call it spirit brain a little bit. My husband and I will have conversations, and I'll hear like 2 words out of 5 sentences sometimes.
2? That's generous.
But I'm feeling her. I'm not going to have her very long. That's what I'm being told. But it's definitely mother energy. She makes me feel like my blood sugar's all over the place, honey. Okay? And I go right to the diabetes, and I feel like there's high blood sugar. Do you understand it? And then she makes me feel, because of the complications, she's really running my system now, and taking my breath away a little bit over this. Diabetes leads into cardio issues. Do you understand it? And then there's cardiovascular issues because of this. And she takes my breath away a little bit with this. She had to be taken care of in the end. She's saying to me that she had this for years. She takes responsibility for what happened. And she's saying to me she didn't always do what she should have with her sugar. Do you understand? And she's making me feel like my sugar's all over the place a little bit, and that's okay. But there were circulatory issues too. But she's making my legs really numb. And do you understand it? And she's like, talk to her about my legs, because tell her I'm in good shape now. Do you understand it? So it would... Okay, perfect. So it's her way of saying to me that she is physically well on the other side, and she has her legs back, whether it's one or both. She's not saying to me, but she's like, I had circulatory issues, and then she's like, tell her my legs are in good shape now. And then I feel like she's making me feel like I want to place my feet on the floor. Do you understand? Were you wondering if she was physically well on the other side? Okay, good. And she's saying to me there's a reason why she's validating that. Do you understand it? Wonderful. Okay, also, I'm seeing the white dove wings, so she's validating to me that she's at peace, and I smell nothing but roses around her. And she's presenting roses to you, so it's her way of passing love. And who has the ring? And she said, talk about the ring. I have to say the ring so she knows it's me. That's what I'm hearing. Do you understand it? You wore that on purpose because you wanted her to validate it? Good. Because she's like, I have to say the ring before I say anything else. But she's so proud of the physicalness. And she's saying to me, tell her I'm young, and tell her I'm free, and tell her I'm so happy here. And she just makes me feel like the shutting down process, it had to do with her not really taking care of herself. Do you understand it? And everything that happened with her, that's what I hear very clearly, okay? Gosh, I smell nothing but roses with her. And it's just her way of making me feel love for you. She's just as sweet as can be. She's very soft-spoken. I hear her as a very soft-spoken person. Now, sometimes that can be their personality when they were here and it's carried over. Sometimes it can just be the way that they come through in their energy. But very clearly, she's saying to me that she had to mention the ring today. Do you recognize the name Dorothy, honey? There's a woman stepping in just behind her, and she's saying to me her name is Dorothy. So it's a loved one that's crossed over in spirit with her is what I'm being told. Do you recognize it? It's okay. I'm going to leave that be because it could be an older generation, 5, 6, 7 generations back. But I hear that clear as day that there's a woman stepping in just behind her by the name of Dorothy. So I'm going to leave it be because it could be an older generation. Because I'm hearing her in the distance and she's saying her name very clearly to me. She's making me feel like you watched the progression of the shutdown with her. Do you understand it? Okay, good. Did you step in to take care of her at any point? Because she just keeps saying to me, I have to thank all those that helped me because I wouldn't have been able to do some of the things that I was able to do without them. Do you understand it? And I feel like some of that goes to you, but I feel like it's also medical staff and other family members. Do you understand? Okay, good. And then she's making me feel like there's a preparedness for her passing to a certain degree. Do you understand? A preparedness for her passing to a certain degree. She's also making me feel like her soul was taken very suddenly and unexpected. And that can have to do with you guys weren't expecting it, or her perception of the timing where she thought she was going to have more time with you. Do you understand that? And she's making me feel a really strong soul release, and she's making me feel the suddenness of it here. Just means she was hoping to have more time with you, and she thought she was going to have more time with you. Do you understand it? Good. And do you recognize the name Mary? Okay, I'm going to leave that be. He recognizes the grandmother energy by the name of Mary because I have her stepping in just behind her. So it just means I'm going to start to come to somebody else. Okay, good. Hold on a minute. Okay. Yeah, Mary and John are like common names. When I get stuff like Mildred or Sarah or Stacy earlier, they're very, very different. But I can hear Lady Grandmother Energy, Mary, so I'm hearing her just behind, so I just needed to stop for a minute, because it just means she's going to be one of the next people through, or she's giving this support to somebody else, but I can hear her in the distance. But I want to see what else I can get out of your mom really quick, honey. She just keeps saying to me she came to pass love to you. She wanted to have a chance to have just a few minutes with you. Tell her how thankful I am and honored that I am that she wore that ring. I know I had to say and have you hear me say and feel the ring because I know it's what she was waiting to hear, so she knew it was me. She also wore it because she was hoping it would be my connection to her. Do you understand it? So I said, validate why she wore this ring. And she's saying to me, it's about that you wore it because you felt it would bring the connection to her. Do you understand it? She's so loving. I'm only going to have her for just a couple more seconds. Please tell her I love her. Tell her how much I love her. How many siblings do you have? Good, because she's like, my three children. So that's why I was already putting my fingers up. They're both still here with you as well? All my children are there, so that's how I know they're on the earth plane. Give them both a kiss for me. Tell them I love them as well. Because she made me drop right down to where I want to talk about the children, and she kept saying, there's three. So then I wanted to validate, because I was feeling direct bloodline down, but sometimes it can be stepchildren. But she was saying 3, so I know they're biological. Do you understand it? Good, perfect. She's so sweet. And what's with them at the April, honey? Is somebody else she watches over, so I'm going to leave that be because that could even be a friend that's still here. Huh? Okay, good. Because she's showing me pink balloons, and she's like, April. My guide said she's a guardian for that child. Do you understand it? Good, perfect. So it's what she's trying to validate to me very clearly. Because I said, show me if it's pink, if it's a girl, or blue if it's a boy. And she presented the pink balloons to me clear as day, and they showed me the guardian wing, so you need to know that she is a guardian for that child. That's what I keep hearing. Tell her I have so much more to say to her. I know it won't be today, but I wanted to tell her I love her. So it just means she's going to start to pull her energy out. She did great, honey, and I only had her for 5 minutes. And you're welcome. This is what I'm going to try to tell everybody. When I do groups like this, and there's so many people in this room, and I have like around a good 80 people, And this is what I'm going to explain to you. The other side is nothing but unconditional love. There's no anger, there's no judgment. So when I do large groups like this, sometimes I might only get 5 or 10 minutes with each person, and it's just because they're trying to be loving and courteous of everyone else in line. And that's okay. Now, if somebody comes to me and they do a private or a smaller group, I'll get 10 times as much detail. And it's a little crazy sometimes with the amount of detail I get, especially in a private. But when I do groups like this, a lot of times I only have just a couple minutes with them. And it's just because they're all very loving coming through from the other side, and they're very, very loving to each other. And they're trying to be considerate of everyone else that wants to connect with their loved ones as well. Plus, from the other side, God always wants me to be able to offer as much healing as possible. So sometimes I only have just a few minutes, and that's okay. So I want them to kind of get straight and to the point, and what they feel is going to offer the most healing, or the validations that you're going to be able to recognize the strongest, which is just wonderful. Okay, so let's move on.